This episode of UnAccountable is brought to you by Keeper. I mean, it's 1099 season soon. As January approaches, it's that time of year where we all start pulling out our hair and gouging out our eyeballs over the administrative workload that is collecting W-9s and issuing 1099s. Well, at this point, you've probably heard of Keeper, maybe from their stark raving fans or the unaccountable host who just gushes over them nonstop. Keeper's a practice management tool that's built to focus on the bookkeeping community in the month-end close process. And Keeper's 1099 tools make it incredibly easy to gather all the W-9s you need and know that when you need to issue a 1099, it's correct. This has personally saved me and my team hours of work each month and years of our life in stress every single year. If there's ever been a better time to save money and use that extra time to grow your business, it's right now. Get started with Keeper by going to unaccountable.co/keeper. That's unaccountable.co/keeper. Welcome to UnAccountable, the world's okay-est accounting game show podcast for product news, updates, and education. I am your bad asset of a host, Tyler Otto, and I'm joined by the man that is fully depreciated, but still in use, Jeremy Van Groll. Hello, sir.
Hello. Maybe not in use as much as I used to be, but still out there.
You're still hanging on, man. You got a little useful life left.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a minute, right? We had our wonderful live recording. Oh, man, was that fun, right? But we're back. Good to see you.
Yeah. We're back, and I mean, I don't know about you, but like I kind of got out of like the habit of recording a little bit. So I'm glad we're back and hopefully not too bumpy.
Yeah, we'll see. But let's test it out. Let's dive right in with what's in the news. It has been a minute, and this is a little dated, but this at the end of November, this came out that a member of the financial staff at Macy's hid $150 million of expenses in their books. Wow, like that's really all you can say about that, right? Like so many people have covered this already, but like how does this happen? How does the auditor not catch this? And amazing, just all the way around, and it delayed their filing, but it also said, I believe in their statement, that this will not materially affect anything because of what of a big organization they are, right? They have like, I don't know, 15 billion in sales a year. It's ridiculous.
So here's what kills me, because I can tell you how this happened. I once came in to work for a hotel company, and they said, great, we're going to put you on Hotel X. And I get in, and I'm like, hey, your guest ledgers, which for everyone that doesn't know hotels, that's essentially like a customer's bar tab, right? Like the ledger that just grows and grows as they stay and they haven't paid off, but you accumulate the revenue daily. So it's a bar tab. And I said, hey, like the overall guest ledger is off by like 40 grand. And in my first month, I wrote 40 grand off to the statement as a material misstatement. And the owners go, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you sure we should? No, that doesn't seem right. Put it back on the balance sheet. A month later, it's 50 grand. I'm like, guys, we got to figure out a process here, but this is not right. Like the guest ledger's off. We need to correct it. Well, let's just wait and see. It got to November and it was like 110,000. And I'm screaming, you guys have a bad process. You're accounting wrong. This needs to be rectified. And then they had to go to investors in November and say, hey, our bad. We need to write 110 off it now when it was only 40 when I found it. So a lot of people are like, well, we have a bad process, but we don't want to recognize the mistake yet. Let's make sure it's really a mistake before we do that. And then you get to this spot, and I'm willing to bet the auditors didn't catch it, because I know I've worked at hotels that have auditors, and they send the 22 and 23-year-olds straight out of school who I can tell them, oh, this is right. And they say, oh, cool, Tyler said it was right, so we don't have to look at it. Like, I'm sorry, but it was not hard for me to imagine a scenario of how this happens. Just, anyways, my soapbox.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Yeah, it's frustrating, right, to see it. Like, but it happens, like more than you would think. It happens, and yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
for anyone that thinks like, oh, I'm not a good accountant, how dare I compete with all these other people? Like, these are the ones we're all supposed to look up to, the big corporate firms that miss all of this.
And this is where we harp on our team too. It'll be like, you need to be comfortable with everything on the balance sheet, right? Like any two-bit accountant can be decent at the P&L and dollars are coming in and out, but like, do you truly understand all the balances that are out there on the balance sheet?
100%. Also in the news this week, I don't know if you saw this, but you know, Jeremy, we all talk about imposter syndrome, but have you seen the articles out there that the Pentagon has failed It's 7th audit in a row, but they're not. They say progress was made. The Pentagon is still unable to fully account for more than $824 billion budget, though officials stress they're making good progress towards a clean audit in 2028. They went through and identified 15 disclaimers this year on their 3 audit opinions that are pending. You know, they say this is an improvement from prior years, so like, oh, way to go to them. This is something along the lines of like, you know, my wife's like, you almost got your laundry in the hamper. Like, it was closer. You're getting better. For the 7th time I had to remind you, but you're getting there. No, this just kills me that like this is what accounting standards are at, and we just say, well, that's what it is. And then people, I'm sorry, but like the amount of people, I don't care if you're left leaning, right leaning, or you hate both sides, or you could be all the above, but like, gosh, just having good accounting in place within the IRS, within our governmental systems. If you want better spending, great. And you're on the left, let's save money and have good accounting, and you can actually spend all you want. Or if you're on the right and want to cut all this spending, great. Let's cut all the waste by actually know where it's going. Either way, let's fix the friggin' accounting. Wow, I'm really on a soapbox today.
You are. You just got all this pent-up soapbox-nicks from not recording for a couple weeks. But no, I agree with you. And like, whether you like the incoming administration or not, and I could not care less, right? But they say like, hey, we're going to save these billions of dollars. And again, doubts for that because like 80% of our spend is either Medicare or Social Security, right? But like there is opportunity there for smart people to go in and like cut costs and do that. So maybe that's possible. But then it's also people like Elon Musk and other people that may not be the right people to address these issues. Like, let's get smart finance people in there, not crazies. But there's my
we're going to get canceled because I know we're going to upset somebody, but
yeah.
I mean, between the IRS not being able to put barcodes on their forms, between audits being this unsuccessful, gosh, like, and this is not like something where for every dollar more we spend, we need to increase spending on accounting, 10 cents proportionally. This eventually levels off. Just, okay. Yeah. Jeremy, fresh start. Ready? We're going to start the episode over and let's just go in a different direction in 3, 2, 1. Jeremy, another episode, another person lowered their standards to our level, and like this is a charity visit on her part. Kate Johnson came onto our podcast. First of all, I just have to say before we even let her get a word out, Kate is probably known by way more people than they know about us. So she's lending credibility here with her bookkeeping side hustle Facebook group, where I would say she is the gateway drug for anyone that is unfamiliar with the industry, that wants to get connected, learn, get that confidence boost, and grows. She also is here to talk about some other cool stuff. But welcome to the show, Kate Johnson. Hello.
Guys, it is good to talk to you. I feel like we are old friends, been to many conferences together. I've met you both in person. I kind of almost feel like, I don't know, brothers and sisters, because we kind of started together. I feel like we were original kind of bookkeeping entrepreneurs together, just building together. So good. And I love charity at this time of year. So yes, I am here doing my charitable works for the end of the year. Glad to be here.
I like how you tied it back to, we all kind of started together, and it's just remarkable to look how people can go different ways. Some of us build respectable communities. Some of us make fart jokes and get CPE for it. And either way, we're all doing our own successful thing.
Yeah, and the dad jokes keep some people listening, so here we go.
Yeah, I was going to say someday I'm going to graduate to Kate status, and then we'll be fantastic all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like what y'all are doing. One of my missions in the bookkeeping side hustle community is to make accounting fun. And I think y'all do a great job of that. So kudos to y'all for not taking yourselves too seriously. Clearly, y'all have big brains. You'll have successful firms. I'm glad to hang out with y'all for the hour.
Fantastic. Well, Kate, we brought you on today because we wanted to play a game. Now, usually we put our guests through fast figures, but I didn't feel like that was going to do justice to what you got going on in the world. For those of you that don't know, Kate and a whole bunch of powerhouses have put together the program. And in fact, I say we tease this before we play the game so it makes more sense so people can have their ears out. Yep. But you and a whole bunch of powerhouses, respectable people that Jeremy and I just aren't even lucky enough to associate with, created the Accounting Cornerstone Foundation, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's all about getting scholarships to people so that they can attend accounting conference events and get plugged into the community and learn and grow. I mean, tell us exactly what the mission is, what you guys are doing, everything.
Yes. I'm thrilled to do that. So there's two groups of people that need to hear. One, if you've been to an accounting conference, I want you to give us money. So there's that. If you haven't been to an accounting conference, though, you might qualify for a scholarship from the Accounting Cornerstone Foundation. All we're trying to do is to get accounting professionals across that scary hurdle to go to their first in-person event. We've done 2 years now. So the first year we did 6 scholarships. Last year we did 12, all expenses paid. And like literally the only criteria is you have to be in the accounting world, tax, bookkeeping, CAS services, it doesn't really matter. And you have to have never been to an accounting conference. This past year, we did Scaling, ZeroCon, one of the NEA tax summits, and QuickBooks Connect. And next year, we're going to send people to Scaling New Heights, Bridging the Gap, and Reframe, Hector Garcia's Reframe conference. We were kind of wanting to go a little smaller. We got some feedback about that sometimes the huge conferences were pretty overwhelming. And so, but it's really been life-changing for the people that have been able to attend. They're always put in groups, so they meet each other online, like in little WhatsApp groups, and we have some Zooms, so they have a friendly face before they show up and get on that plane and show up. And the hope is that 2 or 3 years later, they're going to look back and say, that was a milestone moment in my career that sort of changed my trajectory, because that's how I feel about my first conference in 2021, I guess. Whenever I went to the first one, I thought, wow, I'm different because I went here and I invested in myself, and we want to give that to people.
Awesome.
I love that. And I would say, too, if we have listeners and you haven't done that, take advantage of this, right? Because I say the same thing. Like, I agree, like, even Intuit Connect is big and scary. And I like the smaller ones as well. But if you have people there, like I've never been to one where I've regretted going there, that I've always learned something and been able to connect with amazing people and build those relationships. And as we said already, like none of us would be where we are now if we didn't have our tribe of people that we've connected with and been able to grow and push each other and so forth. So yeah, go make the leap and take advantage of this if you can.
Yeah, the website's accountingcornerstone.org, and you can go there to donate or to apply. I think the applications technically aren't going to be open until like January of 2025, and we're going to do like all of them at once, and then we'll give our awards.
Great. Well, not to steal my thunder at all, because I think you guys have said at least 60% of the answers so far. So we're going to see how this goes. But, Kate, I'm going to ask you 8 questions about upcoming conferences and see if you know the name by the description, and we're going to talk about the merits of that one.
Okay.
So, with that said, question 1, this conference put on by the tax partner Tri-Merit will be in Denver this July 22nd through 24th.
That is Bridging the Gap with my friend Randy, who's also on the who's helped me with the Accounting Cornerstone.
Yeah, and Bridging the Gap, Randy and Tri-Merit, I love these ones that aren't put on by the big accounting tech stack platforms, but instead practitioners in our industry. What does Bridging the Gap offer for those listening?
I know it has a lot of focus on wellness. I know this coming year they're having a wellness room. There was a lot of sessions on mental health. I mean, Randy's had a lot of success, but I think that's come at some costs to him. And so he's, as a veteran, he's trying to use his wisdom for the next generation. A lot of people say it's great. I think they do have one like fancy night. I think it's pretty casual, but then they have this like gala thing. So there's like all kinds of tastes are, met at that conference. And Denver, it's always been in Chicago, but Denver this year, they're going off-site to a different place. So I bet it will be good. Great. Denver in July. Come on, let's go.
That's right.
Batting 1 for 1 so far. Question 2, this late October, early November annual bash highlights the best that the Big Green Monster has to offer in Vegas.
I'm going to say Intuit Connect, which should get me bonus points because I didn't say QuickBooks Connect.
I still feel like they missed an opportunity there because they should have called it Connect Into It, right? Like you connect into the next thing. It lent itself, and they blew that one.
They should have hired you.
I mean, but people like me, we could make all sorts of dirty jokes that way around. So maybe they were good doing what they could.
Whatever ups the attendance, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Put people in the seats. Go for it.
It is in Vegas.
Yeah.
There you go. Question 3, happening this August 9th and 10th, Drexel University hosts this annual event ideal for your average hobby entomologist.
Bugfest.
Oh my goodness.
Is that right?
She got it right. On a total shenanigan question. Yes. Every year, we just have to throw some fun here, but every year, Bugfest is held at Drexel University, and there are such great events as in build your own bug mask photo booth. There is roach races, And there's even Bug Appetit, where they bring in a Cajun bug chef to teach you all the best culinary tricks for bug enthusiasts. Kate, my mind is blown on you on that one.
I'm not a bug enthusiast. I just am a good guesser.
Hard pass on attending that one, though. No, thank you. Ooh.
I handle a lot, but not roaches.
All right, moving on strong. Question 4. This big blue event put on by our favorite New Zealanders every August highlights the biggest trends to QuickBooks' closest competitor.
That would be XeroCon.
Absolutely. And our friend Scotty Scarano was on earlier this year to debut his wrap that he released at XeroCon. They haven't released exact dates yet, but last year was in Nashville. They almost always do it in August. Kate, your opinions on XeroCon, because I know you are not a QuickBooks user. You're more a FreshBooks girl, but you've also gone to XeroCon, if I'm not mistaken?
I haven't gone to XeroCon. What I have gone to is called the Xero Road Shows, which are more bite-sized events, day long, CPE if you need them, but they're more like local and they do a lot of them. So they might have 3 or 4. So those are a little more digestible. And I will say they alternate hemispheres. So next year is in Australia, New Zealand, one of those, someplace down there. So that's why the Accounting Cornerstone isn't doing XeroCon as a scholarship. We're not quite ready to go international yet, but the road shows happen every year. So if you can't hit XeroCon in 2025, grab a road show.
And are the road shows, are they like on a specific topic and a kind of a focus for that? Or is it kind of like, I know all of them have to try to sell you the Kool-Aid on all the amazing Xero things, but is it like specific topics each time?
I don't know. The one I went to had like 2 tracks at every moment. So, it wasn't like 10 sessions to choose from, but there was always more than one, maybe 1 or 2 plenary sessions. But I would say it was a nice balance of general firm information and Xero information, usually kind of doubled up. So if you wanted hardcore Xero information, or if not, then you could go attend the How to Grow Your Firm session.
Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Question 5. This event put on by Joe Woodard and the Woodard Institute is arguably the largest non-accounting software-based conference out there, providing what I believe is some of the best content I've experienced in a classroom. Which one is that?
That is Scaling New Heights. It is the first conference I ever attended, so it's a near and dear to my heart. I'm grateful to it. I think it's been QuickBooks heavy, but I think they're trying to get away from that. But they're just going to naturally be mostly QuickBooks content, but I know FreshBooks was a headline sponsor last year. Xero does a lot of sessions there too. So he's trying to not be just so tied to just one general ledger. Oh, I think Zoho has been a big sponsor of him. They're trying to get in now too. And that one is really good because there's a lot of technical stuff. One of the sessions I went to was how to build an RPA robot to get a bank. I don't know. It was like nerd fest, not just the fluffy kind of feel good stuff, which you need some of that. But I think scaling has a lot of really technical nitty gritty sessions if you want them.
I feel like Tyler peed himself a little as soon when you said this RPA thing and Nerdfest that he would fit right into that.
I will say this last year, they had some of the speakers that just, they're engaging, entertaining, but I wish I could remember the guy's name, but talking through some of the tax resolution fights they've had with the IRS and how to work with the IRS, how to not be scared of them, but work through things and it's just, they've had some beautiful content. I'm a fan of it. Talk with Joe Woodard at Intuit Connect. He said he's coming on UnAccountable and he hasn't regret that decision yet. So hopefully we get him.
I hope he comes.
Yeah.
He brought it up, not me. We'll see.
Before you move on, Kate, so that was your first conference. What do you think you did to make that successful for you? And is that something you talk about with the Accounting Cornerstone, right? You can't, like anything else with people in this business, you can't succeed without having efforts, doing the right things. What do you think you did to make that a great experience?
So I had a little cheat sheet. I'm kind of an analog girl at heart. So I had a printout that equaled enough sessions. And so I wanted to have a good place to take notes. And I also had one thing at the bottom of that, which was I had to sit next to someone and get someone's name. It was awkward. I mean, it's hard. But I knew that I was my own little way of holding myself accountable. It's I could sit next to the easy person, or I could say, hey, let's separate. If I walked in with someone that I knew, let's separate. I'm going to try to sit by someone new. One thing I did poorly, I think I went a little bit too hardcore. That was, I attended every session, and they have paid vendor sessions at 7 a.m. They're called sponsored breakfasts, I believe, which is just meaning that they had to pay to get it, and they're getting the worst slot. And homegirl here, I went to 4 7 a.m. sessions, and I think I kind of felt it by the end. By the end, it was all just kind of like Charlie Brown, wah, 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 wah. So I think we tell the folks when we have our little pre-meetings before the scholarship recipients go, we like encourage them, like, don't feel like just because we're paying for this that you have to have a butt in a seat every moment. Sometimes it's better to have half the sessions, but they're super targeted and you knew what you were going there to learn. So I've adapted. I'm fine having, you know what, or a breakfast with one person might be better than forcing yourself to attend the 7 a.m. session, like, or grab a walk with someone, you know, like, hey, let's meet for a walk instead of going and listening to all the sessions. So, you know, I was new, first session, went to everyone.
I was blessed that Intuit Connect to Megan and I met up, who's in the Accounting Cornerstone too. And we just had breakfast one morning. It was fantastic. First time we were able to connect in person. But I also feel like that's great advice, and something to learn early is I know a lot of us that have gone to several of these, there'll be like a 1 o'clock slot and we'll see each other, be like, hey, where are you going? And be like, I am really tired. I am going to go take a nap for the next hour and I'm going to come back. And like, that is okay. Like, do what you need to do to make this the best experience.
All right, next question, number 6. A relatively newcomer to the conference space. This conference is May 20th through 21st in San Diego, put on by Accounting Today magazine.
Oh, Accounting Fest. I don't know.
You were almost as close with Bugfest. It is Accounting Today Firm Growth Forum. And I bring this up because I actually went to that one last year. And, you know, it was a spur of the moment. San Diego's an easy flight from Salt Lake. Surprisingly good content. And Kate, Jeremy, I'm sure you're aware, but we run into a lot of the same people going to Intuit Connect, ZeroCon, Scaling New Heights. Like, it's the same faces. I didn't recognize a soul there. It's like its own other community that was really quality, and hence why I bring it up on the list.
I think that's great. Yeah. Sometimes just the act of going is going to be valuable. So that first time conference, like, you know, say you don't win one of our scholarships, we'll still set the goal of going. Maybe you go to like just the one closest to you. Like, that could literally be your criteria. Who cares if you don't use Zero? Just go to the firm building sessions or the marketing sessions and you'll get a lot out of it because it doesn't apply to a particular software. So I love going to one that's easy to get to. Sometimes the stress of conference is so big. If you make the travel part not stressful, that's a win.
Also, Tyler is really good at these. Like, I don't know if he considers himself an extrovert or an introvert, but like goes and connects with everybody right away. And I know not all of us and a lot of us in this space are introverts, and that's hard for us. How many friends did you make at that conference?
Accounting Day or the one last week?
The Accounting Today one.
The Accounting Today, it was wonderful. I got plenty of friends out of that. I'm going next year. We even got a couple that are going to come on the podcast here, Jeremy. I just haven't told you. So,
oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So for you guys to know, I loved first dates. Like, I love my wife, but I miss first dates. I love those interactions that could be awkward, but if you're confident and just run with it, you can do whatever you want. Like, I miss those. So going to conferences and not knowing anyone is kind of like my happy place.
So most people aren't like that. And so better is to jump in the bookkeeping side hustle group or jump on LinkedIn and say, I'm going to San Diego. Will someone join me? Anyone want to come? And we'll meet for some, like, make yourself have that friendly face, even if it's like a stranger, if it's someone that you know that you can at least like have a smile, because then you'll probably get over the hump. You know, then you'll sit next to someone who's nice. There'll be a Tyler there that's going to make you feel welcome. And until that, you can have, don't trust that you're going to be able to pull off being a Tyler. If you know that's not you, give yourself the tools you need to still succeed.
Just hopefully it's not actually Tyler.
You're good. I would say that's the first time pulling a Tyler has ever been used in a positive context. This was amazing.
I have one thing I want to say about how you said you didn't know anyone there. I think sometimes we can be in our own little bubble. Like you guys and I, we've taken some of the same courses. I feel like maybe we're in a similar bubble. I saw a Facebook post from a guy named Jason Statz, who a lot of people know, and he said he went to speak, and he asked, hey, does anyone in here use Carbon? Which to me, I'm like, that's such a popular app. Like, I hear about it left, right, all the time, right? Yeah. And he was like, no one raised their hand, and he was at a whole event speaking, and none of those people used an app that to him felt like he was for sure going to get some hands. So that just reemphasizes how there's 1 gajillion of us, and even the questions that Tyler's asking me, he's missing so many conferences. There's way more conferences that he's going to quiz about. So just dig and find them. Yeah. Who cares? Who cares what they are? It doesn't really matter.
That said, we got 2 conferences left, though.
2 left. Let's go.
2 left. This annual event happens in February in Orlando, where runners dress up as their favorite blank as they race around the Disney Empire.
Is that the Princess Marathon? Disney
It
Princess?
is.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, I know Jeremy is excited to tell us all. He said he likes to dress up as Jasmine because those clothes are very breathable. Like, he just loves how it feels. Anyone a runner here?
It's my bronze skin that just... I used to be a runner. I need to get back at it, but no, not anymore.
Kay, how did you know that?
I have girlfriends that run marathons. I don't know. I think it's popular. It's an easy way for runners to like tack on a family vacation, you know, so you've ignored your family for 5 months preparing.
Yeah.
And so you're like, but it's for the Disney Princess Marathon. It's going to be worth it, family, right? If I'm gone all Saturday mornings for the next 5 months. Maybe that's why I know it. I don't know. I'm not a runner. Not a bit. So slow.
Yeah.
I threw 2 shenanigan conferences in here, and you with like no hesitation nailed those 2. All right, last one, back to actual accounting. Only entering its 2nd year in 2025, this conference is hosted by the co-creator of Write Tool and aims to redefine what it means to be an accountant these days. It's
called Reframe, and I went this past fall. I went to the 2nd one. It was awesome.
So Hector Garcia, the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to the world of QuickBooks. How was that? Because I've heard nothing but rave reviews.
It was great. It was small. I think he's trying to keep it to 200, and there was a bunch of people who had a hurricane right before, so it was less than 200 this time, but that's kind of like his goal number. So it was all plenary style. We were all in the same room, no breakouts, so you're learning the same thing. Great food. He threw great parties in the night. Pretty hands-on, so there was lots of like workshoppiness about it at the tables we were sitting at versus some conferences in their sessions are more like classroom style where there's a teacher and then like tables facing. This was all circles. And we had assigned seats. So your tag had what table you were at for morning, afternoon, and morning. So we had 5 numbers. We sat at 5 different tables through the 2.5-day event. So that's helpful to meet people. It was wonderful. I bought a ticket to go again next year. So I paid my money. That's where I'm going.
There you go, folks. If you're looking to meet a friend, Kate's going to be there. She'll say hi.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Come tell me you heard about and I will like hug you.
Just look for the redhead in the room. There won't be a lot of them.
That's true. There won't be.
Kate, 7 out of 8. Well done. Any last things we should know about Accounting Cornerstone before we move on?
So maybe I'll say it probably costs between $2,000 to $3,000 to send someone. Our goal for 2025 is 15 people. We're going to send 5 people to 3. We wanted to have like larger cohorts to make them be friends with each other. So I would just appreciate, probably most of y'all listeners have been to a conference, so I would love for y'all to donate, but then pass the website on to that young or old accountant who's shy, who hasn't invested in themselves, who maybe feels like they don't deserve that good of an experience, because they do. Like, this is it's a treat to go to these things. It's expensive. It takes time away from our families. And so we're trying to help people get more of that because, maybe there's been no one else in their lives saying that like, hey, you deserve this. And we want to be that people.
I didn't do my homework, surprise, but Accounting Cornerstone, a 501c3 nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So you accountants that have for successful firms out there looking to lower your tax burden a little bit by the end of the year here, give a donation. I'm sure they'll send you an acknowledgement.
Yeah. We do recurring donations too. So you can just, basically like think of it as maybe sponsoring a whole person. We don't have an exact number because each conference is a different location, and sometimes if someone lives close, like I think we had one person drive this year, everyone else had to fly. And anyway, we want people to know what it's like to have their lives changed by getting over that hump of going to that first conference, because it was life-changing for every one of us on the board.
Jeremy, dare I throw out there that you and I are not very nice people. Like, there's nothing redeemable about us, but we are competitive. Kate, I feel like if you had separate links for people to give at for each community, we would want the UnAccountable community all day to like beat out everyone else. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the community size that you got at Bookkeeping Side Hustle, but we'd give it a shot. Just saying, thoughts for next year.
Y'all have a community with the podcast?
I mean, our moms check in with us, and Kirsten listens. So, I mean, there's at least 3.
That's amazing. So that's a good tip. I'll take it back to the board. We're meeting next week.
Perfect. Glad we can provide at least a little value. Jeremy, guess what?
What?
Exciting news for our listeners. We've hit another milestone, and I think it's even going to lend us a little credibility. Did you hear about what we're going to be able to offer soon?
I did not.
By listening to UnAccountable going forward, our listeners are going to be able to earn CPE for every episode of UnAccountable they digest. Yes, digest, because it takes a whole lot of stomach acid or heartburn to get through this. But log into that Earmark CPE app, take a quiz, and you can earn 1 hour of CPE credit for listening. How awesome is that?
Fantastic. Look at us. We talked about at the end of one of the episodes, we may be doing some good things here.
Fantastic work. Well, hop on into that app and let us know what you think of our show. And with that sound, it is now halftime, the part of the show where we head over to the sidelines and take a nice little bite out of an app. And Kate, we're also excited to have you here because we don't get to talk about today's app snack, FreshBooks. You are, like, if anyone were to ask me, hey, what do I need to know about FreshBooks? I would say, call Kate. Kate, what should we know? Give us the unadulterated, honest view of FreshBooks from its powerhouse user.
Yeah, so FreshBooks is a full-blown general ledger. If you've met it before in the past, it used to just be an invoicing software. So about 5 years ago, it's got debits and credits behind every transaction now. You know, it's nascent in terms of being a GL. So there's the same problems that we were screaming about with QuickBooks Online like 5 years ago. Like, you're going to be feeling some of those growing pains, but it's a great solution. I've built my entire firm on it. I built my firm on multiple softwares, but I niched 3 years ago, and I decided to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond and become the expert in that. So it's great for service providers that need to send really beautiful invoices. You can track time and push it to an invoice. You can mark expenses billable and push it to an invoice. They have a payments processor too, so that invoice can say, pay now, and your customers can get paid, or your customers can pay you. It's got a project tracking, not as robust as like classes in competitive software, but you can tag stuff to clients or projects if you want to know like what you're spending to deliver your services for that particular one. Their accountant team is top notch. So I probably should have led with that. If you want support from your software, go all in on FreshBooks. They have an amazing.
What is that?
Right. If you want support, actually, just 2 hours ago, I was on their monthly office hours for accountants, and this was the best one. I never miss this meeting. It is so valuable to me. It's awesome. And it's like free talking. We're like getting to know like the users. We're able to communicate, but you submit a question, they answer it. They want us to succeed. They are hungry for accountants to adopt the software in a serious way. It's been successful for me choosing this software. I'm so grateful to them, and I've enjoyed watching them get better.
I'm so used to just support being someone I call when I want to be given different information from the last time I called in, and then nasty Facebook rumors get started about upcoming changes. You know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we have our own email line. Like FreshBooks has support. Actually, it technically has like award-winning support. Like, so if you subscribe, if a business subscribes to FreshBooks, they can ask questions. We get a special team to ask questions to. They have accounting backgrounds, and there's just a lot that they do for us.
So if someone right now is starting out their firm, they're a couple clients in, and they're trying to decide, do I go with the big green monster? Do I go with Cool Blue? Like, what would you say would be a differentiator that, like, hey, you should give FreshBooks the look? Who does it make sense for?
If you like serving smaller customers, FreshBooks would be good. If you're going after like the big complex accounting, it can't handle that. So you got to kind of figure out what your ideal client is. That's one criteria I would use to assess it. In general, I say if you're starting, I don't like to see people have like 5 clients and using 3 different softwares. I think that's unwise. You kind of got to pick your poison if that's the scale you're going for. But if you're going to build a firm, as long as you have more than a handful of clients, then you can be multi-ledger, I think. So just think about how you're going to do that. Right now, all my marketing is inbound though, because I have some YouTube tutorials, and it's not even like I haven't uploaded in 4 months, y'all. And my marketing is still all inbound because I'm the only person doing this. So there's more than enough room. Join me, please.
That's awesome.
What's the pricing that overall, or just general? And you may be the biggest fish in the pond and getting a deal, but for an average Joe, what's like the pricing structure for FreshBooks?
For FreshBooks, so they have a plus and a premium tier, or basically where I operate. 33 and 60 is the full price offer of the plus and the premium. That's where I mostly hang out. The select plan, the truth is, I don't feel like those features kind of really make it worth it. Like, they add stuff, but I don't think that bang is worth the buck. So most of my people are using plus or premium. It's a bad idea to pick the software because you think it's cheaper though. So I
my
discourage that. I like when people come to me and say, "Oh, the other software's too expensive. They raise their prices." And I'm like, "Well, newsflash, so does FreshBooks. They raise their price about a week after the big green monster does.
And
That's
Zero
just
does
normal.
it every November.
Yeah, that's normal. So that's a really bad reason to pick the software. To put your clients on it who are ideally suited for it. I'm actually running a webinar right now, 2 in December, 1 in January, called Should You Convert Your Clients to FreshBooks in 2025? Where I'm trying to answer that question so accountants can not have to research on their own. I will tell you who's it good for, who's it not good for, where it shines, what you can't do, and then you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I did the webinar yesterday. One lady, her feedback was, I will not be using FreshBooks, but now I know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This saved me so much time. So
That's awesome. Well, Kate, we are so lucky to have had you today. Before we boot you out the door, and really, I mean, you probably go screaming into the world, screaming free at last, free at last. Any last things you want to tout? Where should people find you? What communities should they join? Hit us with all the highlights.
yeah, so the Bookkeeping Side Hustle community is on Facebook. You can find it if you search that. I've gotten really into my newsletter. That's on Substack. If you search Bookkeeping Side Hustle on Substack, I put my heart and soul into that, and I basically build in public. You're always going to find deals in there. You're going to find success stories. I'm going to share my failures too. So my newsletter is a place where I would love for people to hang out. And then I would like to connect with people on LinkedIn as well. I'm Kate Josephine Johnson with a little coffee mug in my name.
Love it.
And of course, you're going to put a link to this episode in your next newsletter, correct?
I will be putting a link to this as soon as it comes out. So I publish every other Saturday. So as soon as it's out, it'll be in the newsletter for sure.
This will be dropping 12/19, so we look forward to it. Kate, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll see you at a conference next year.
That's right. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that y'all keep making accounting fun.
All right, that was awesome. Well, let's jump into our next game right away. And this is a repeat one from, I think, maybe about a year ago that I think you originally hosted. And I love the name. I had to keep it. I got 1099 problems, and Ian hit me.
Vendor. 1099. We'll start with this one.
Hit me.
Oh, I love it. I would like also say I have 1099 problems and a snitch ain't one. Did you see that, like, ridiculous? And this is a little sensitive too. We're going off the rails in this one. But the posting on social media by Burger King that said, "We won't snitch on you," after the United Care CEO got caught at McDonald's.
No.
Yeah, they did this thing where they put the Whopper at Burger King, said, we don't snitch or something. And I was like, damn.
Wow.
And again, very tragic that it happened, but there are a lot of people out there that are very unhappy with healthcare systems, that this is not getting near the bad omens or publicity that a lot of other situations like this would get just because of that situation. And
I'm just cringing that you even brought it up on Unaccountable. I can't imagine putting out an ad like that. Like, I'm cringing that we even mentioned it. That's how bad.
I assume it was real, like maybe somebody AI'd it or something, but I saw it in multiple places and I'm like, that's cold. That's cold, but still kind of good. All right. So everybody's favorite time of year. We are now at the end of the year. So getting ready for those 1099s, right? And
I hope our last episode of the year, man.
Yeah. Fantastic. Feliz Navidad, by the way.
Y tú también?
See. All right. So if you're not thinking about this in your firm now, you should be, right? Like,
no.
We do now have it in our monthly project software that we look at for this. Do we have the 1099s doing all that? If you haven't done that yet, you're behind the eight ball already. Start thinking about this. But I got some 1099 scenarios for you, Tyler. A lot of these are quick hitters, but just to get thinking about, do we need 1099s? What are the parameters and all that? Are you ready?
Probably not, but whatever. Hit me.
All right, let's do it. First one, we're going to start easy one. True or false? You need to issue a 1099 to an independent contractor if you paid them $600 for their services via PayPal.
Via PayPal. Was it a business account or a personal account?
Business account.
Business account. No, you don't, because if it's a business account, the 1099K should know. Well, doesn't matter. Ooh. Hold on, because with the... Jeremy, this is not a simple question. This is not a simple question, because I even have a question for you in Fast Figures about this, and they delayed the thing. So let's see. If it's through a business account, they're supposed to be doing it if it's over $2,500, but at the $600 mark, is it back on me? I'm going to say no, I do not have to. because it's PayPal.
Correct. So I did not think about it. That was a great take, right? Because if it's a personal account, then that may complicate things even more, right? So yeah, I didn't even think of that. So fantastic. You hit her on the head. So yeah, PayPal and a lot of other electronic payment softwares will give their own 1099K versus the 1099 NEC that you would normally give out a service for a service
cash, credit card, well, cash, check, debit card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
Who loves 1099s? Oh,
not me.
They're the worst. All right, let's do a few more. Multiple choice on this one. You pay $750 to an independent contractor to fix your office roof. Don't even start a home office business. Like, I don't want to hear it again. So what condition requires that a 1099 NEC be issued? A, they're an LLC. B, they're a sole proprietor. C, you pay them via check. Or D, all of the above.
D, all of the above. No?
No, not necessarily, right? Like maybe I'm thinking of this wrong too. So they're then LLC. What if they're taxed as an S corp?
But that's a separate box on the form because you either check LLC or you check the next line that is LLC, and then you have to say as S corp, and then that negates it. But if you just tell me they're an LLC, I'm going to assume filed as partnership or Schedule C. So maybe insufficient information.
No, because if you paid them via check, the other options, and I said requires it, if you paid them electronically the first two ways, then you would not need to because the payment processor is going to send it. Oh,
Fair enough.
This is good meat, man. I like this. All right. So, let's go on to number 3. All right, another true or false. A corporation that provides legal services must still receive a 1099 NEC for any payments over $600.
Correct.
So I think it's legal and healthcare, right? Services that require all the time. You're going to tell me something. I see it in your face. What?
And fishermen.
And fishermen? What?
Yep. I am pulling it up right now from the 1099. And if we go to it, there is, let me share this window on my computer. So as you pointed out, there is gross proceeds paid to an attorney. There is medical or health care. And there are cash payments for the purchase of fish or resale reported.
For a fish not so general premise of a 1099 is for a service, but if you're buying fish, that's a product. You always have to give a 1099 for the purchase of the fish.
Who says I don't add value to this podcast? Look at this right here.
But like, help me understand this. So is this the concern is from the IRS that the fishermen who are providing maybe a service to pull fish from a body of water are not reporting the income from it? How would that be different if like you were hunting and you're like killed a deer? And so I don't know.
Jeremy, do not ask questions. We do not have the budget to research.
I don't accept this fish one. I want to know why. Oh God, ridiculous. But this, there's another tangent. This just reiterates how ridiculous 1099 rules are. Oh my God.
Yep.
Question 4. You hire a marketing consultant who is a registered LLC, taxed as an S corp. You pay them $1,200. Do you issue a 1099 NEC?
Depends, because I'm going bonus points here. If they don't give me a W-9 asserting and verifying it, yes, I do. If they give me the W-9 showing that they are an S corp, then no.
I'm going to take off 5 points if the next question I answer you is not just true or false and has to come with all of it. No. Yeah, that's right. Like, again, S corp should not need it with all of the caveats that you just went through already. Good Lord. All right, one more. Another true or false. I'm only accepting one-word answers.
Okay.
No, you paid a contractor in Bitcoin for $800 worth of work. You still need to issue a 1099 NEC.
I honestly don't know. I'm not touching Bitcoin. I would assume yes, because currency is currency.
I'm going to say wrong just because I didn't get a one-word answer. No, that is true. Cryptocurrency treated the same as cash for 1099 reporting. All right, and that's enough with the 1099 shenanigans. Like I said, we may continue that. But just to put some love out there, and not just because they're our sponsor, if you have not tried Keeper for 1099s,
oh man,
completely worth it just for that aspect. So we've seen the rules. They are convoluted and all that. But if you want an easier process, get yourself some Keeper, make it easy on you. The part that I love too is like they put it in the right format that you can just upload it into Track 1099 and all those. Oh man, fantastic.
Do you know whose idea that was?
Oh God, I'm sorry.
I know. I was standing with Ben Stein at QuickBooks Connect last year.
Yeah.
I said, you guys should build an integration with Track 1099, Tax 99. He's like, yeah, the odds of them doing that with us. I'm like, well, then shoot, just like put it in a format. And he goes, oh, that's brilliant. He's like, we could actually build that. And Ben just ran with it. So I'm going to take a little credit.
Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, go check them out. 100%.
Well, Jeremy, you know what time it is then.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Fast Figures. 10 questions, 1 minute-ish. All answers are numbers. The game starts now.
So I know it said it's been a minute since we recorded, but I think it's been a long time since I've been in this chair, right? Because we've had guests, and you are really good at curating questions for the guests. And so I let you have that privilege.
Let me.
And then I feel obligated when we don't have one. It's like, I better do this work once when we haven't had one in 2 months. I've done it. So I've not been in the hot seat for a while. It's still just as nerve-wracking as any other time. But let's do it.
All right. Putting 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. In the classic The Grinch, How He Stole Christmas, how many sizes too small was the Grinch's heart?
3.
According to the Government Accountability Office, how much did the IRS collect in taxes in fiscal year 2024? You have to be within 1 trillion.
3 trillion.
Follow up to the prior question, within 10%, what percentage of all that money was from individual tax returns?
15%.
How many ghosts come to visit Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol?
3.
Within 20,000, how many accounting jobs did the Bureau of Labor and Statistics estimate would be added to the workforce from 2021 to 2031 in that 10-year span, within 20K?
300,000.
According to Will Ferrell in Elf, how many food groups do elves have? I'll even give you a +1 window.
I want to say there's 4 as like sugars and syrups and yeah, 4.
If a business owner files taxes on cash basis, what is the last day they can pay out employee bonuses and have them deducted in 2024 rather than 2025?
They have to hit their bank account on the 31st of December.
In 1947, a miracle Christmas dramedy about a girl's interactions with a Macy's department store Santa happened on which street?
34th.
The IRS just announced that they are delaying again the requirement for distribution of Forms 1099-K for amounts over what amount?
600.
How many reindeer does Santa have?
Oh, 9.
You stuttered on that reindeer one a little more than I thought.
We're accepting Rudolph, right? All right, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, we can be controversial. Does Rudolph count, that little son of a gun?
Yeah.
Jeremy, for being out of the practice for a little bit, I'm actually rather proud of you. I mean, not too proud of you, but pretty proud of you.
I felt okay on that one. Yeah, okay, let's see it.
All right, question 1. In the classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas, how many sizes too small was the Grinch's heart? You said 3. And way to start off on the right foot. You know your Christmas lingo. I'm proud of you. Next up, according to the Government Accountability Office, how much did the IRS collect in taxes in fiscal year 2024 within 1 trillion? Now, you said 3 trillion. It's actually 5.1. Let's go to the next question because I want to put this all together. Follow up to the prior question, within 10%, what percentage of all that money was from individual tax returns? Within 10%, you said 15. It was 85%, 86.5 to be exact, from personal returns because you got K1s flowing through, S Corps all flow through, Schedule Cs all flow through to the 1040. So you got all of that. But this just blew my mind that 4.4 trillion of the 5.1 they collected is on personal tax returns. And people that say they only do business returns, look at what you are giving up. Like I know several taxpayers that say I only touch businesses. this is your reason to still go after high net worth individuals. Just don't take people that, have W-2s only, because they're commodity shopping. They're looking for the cheapest price out there, but don't limit yourself.
I agree, but the thing that just floors me is, like, you see how much money these corporations make, and they just have the money to have the smartest tax minds avoid taxes. Yeah. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you wonder why some people rage against companies and their leadership, because they're not doing their part of the pie. And whatever, I'm going to get no more soapboxes. I'm done.
All right. Next question. How many ghosts come to visit Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? You said 3. What are their names?
Names? Like, is a ghost of past, present, and future. But they have names. I don't know their names.
No, I'll accept those answers, but you're still wrong. Because before Jacob Marley comes to visit him. 4 ghosts. That's like when you got me on Halloween. What was it? How many people did Jason kill? And no, it was Jason's mom.
It was Jason. Yeah. Good. Well done.
Within 20,000. Jeremy, to be honest, I'm going to give you a little Christmas gift here. When I build these questions and I give you a window, it's because I want to give you at least, like, a 80% to 20% window. Like, I want to give you something. So within 20,000, how many accounting jobs did the Bureau of Labor and Statistics estimate would be added from 2021 to 31? You said 300K. The correct answer is 80K. There you go. That's my gift to you on how I've been building questions. But I do find this interesting that they're bullish that even with all the AI, with everything that's coming around, accountants aren't going away. Our jobs are going to change, but they're still bullish that this industry is going to add people, not lose people as we continue to grow. Do you buy it?
I think it's how you define it too. Like, what are their roles? I think the roles in 10 years or whatever, 31 is going to be significantly different than now, right? You need to have people who are building relationship managers, and you need to have data people, right? There's not going to be a lot of like data entry things, stuff. You're going to have like relationship managers, and you're going to have data people, and then they're going to fight, and then there's going to be World War III. I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like the roles are going to change though.
I agree. I've told some of my lower level staff, like, hey, 3 to 5 years, your job's going to be gone. So luckily you have the time to learn the next level up, which is learn the tools, systems, and data, or the account management. But you got to learn one of them.
Right.
Next up, according to Will Ferrell and Elf, how many food groups are there? You said 4. There is candy, candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. Well done.
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups: candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
Oh, nice.
Next up on the list, if a business owner files taxes on cash basis, what is the last day they can pay out to employee bonuses and have them deducted in 2024 rather than next year in 2025? You correctly did not fall for it. It has to be this year. Simple. Don't overthink it. Cash basis books, which a lot of us still file our taxes on cash basis because it's very advantageous. But if you want that deduction, you got to pay it out this year. Don't try and play games. Don't be cute. Well done, Jeremy. You paying out bonuses ahead of time? Because ain't no way I'm calculating it by the end of the year.
We did. We calculate ours in November and pay them before Christmas. Try to do
You're
that.
Smarter than me.
Is UnAccountable paying out bonuses this year?
Well, if we lose money, is it like we divvy out a bill?
Yeah, that's probably more likely. Dang it.
Here's the cash call required to keep this hubbled ship afloat.
Right.
The 1947 Miracle Christmas dramedy about a girl's interactions with the Macy store department Santa happened on which street? 34th is correct. One of my mom's favorite movies, and so at least one of our listeners will be happy.
I honestly, and I know your mom is starting to love me more than she loves you, but Tyler, Mom, I do not like that movie. I just don't. It doesn't do it for me. You're now the favorite again. There's my Christmas present to you, Tyler.
Thank you, Jeremy. The IRS just announced that they are delaying again the requirement for distribution of Forms 1099-K for over what amount? $600 is correct. Do you know what they're dropping it down to for this year?
No, I don't. I read a little bit about this, but I don't recall the details.
Yeah. I mean, reading comprehension was not Jeremy's skill in school, folks. Don't judge him.
Yeah, all that.
5K for 2024, 2,500 for 2025, and then 600 beyond that. So 2026, it's going to move on, until next year when they kick the can down the road again.
Right. Yeah.
Last question, Jeremy. How many reindeer does Santa have? You said 9. Name them.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph.
Hey, way to go. Okay, I have to ask, so what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, favorite Christmas movie? Not Die Hard's gonna be racy. I actually like. Does it have to be a movie or can it be like a special? The movie.
Go for it.
I like if the way back in the probably 80s or 90s, there was a claymation. Will Vinton or something did a claymation Christmas, and every morning my kids and I watch it. And I seriously look
Every
forward
morning or every Christmas morning?
every morning, every Christmas morning. That's weird, right? Oh my god, the kids would hate me. But no, I just get a kick out of it, and it's like I don't even know how it got on DVD. I used to have the VHS, but we found the DVD and watch it, and I just love it. It makes me laugh every time. How about you?
My favorite, it's not Die Hard, but it's in the same vein. The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel Jackson and Gina Davis. I mean,
Okay.
that whole movie takes place around Christmas references. I'm counting it.
You're always this stupid, or did you take lessons?
I took lessons.
Otherwise, I grew up in a skiing family. My dad's still director of ski patrol at a ski resort. We watch, well, at least me and some friends, we watched Out Cold every year at the beginning of ski season.
Yeah.
You all know the rules of King of the Mountain. Rule number 1, you do not talk about King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
That's another good one, for sure. And with that sound, we are going to go to our winner of the week. And we have this and touched on it in our 1099 section. I'm going to go with those crypto supporters. Bitcoin up like 35% since the election, thinking the new administration is going to be much more supportive in promoting and accepting all things Bitcoin. Now up on over $100,000 for a Bitcoin. I'm still not doing it, but cool if you have it, right? Like you're
Well, it was over 100,000. As of today, it's back up today. It was down, I think, yesterday to like 94. So it's up and down all over. What I will say is since the new SEC commissioner got appointed, the Coinbase app is actively saying, hey, make sure you email your senators to fight the SEC commissioner that might put regulations on that. So
I love how you went out of your way to try to prove me wrong on the amount that Bitcoin was. We don't do any research, but I'm going to make sure Jeremy's wrong in this amount. Thank you for that.
You know, it's the simple joys in life, Jeremy. And who do we have for our loser of the week?
And loser of the week this week is public companies. So more than ever we talked about the Macy's thing, having to delay their quarterly reportings as required by the SEC due to accounting issues, them having to restate things, etc. I think it's at 140 of them so far this year and up some 30%. And again, I don't have the statistics in front of me, surprise, but yeah, just the accounting departments at these public ones delaying things because of just not having the right numbers and confident enough to report it to the street. And again, I could see this, right? Like, first of all, like the accounting rules around like semi-debt things, balance sheet, capital leases are all getting more complicated, and there are less financial pros to support this. So not surprised there. And then they also made a note in that article that, you have more remote engagements right now, more remote audits. Is there less stringent activities being taken because people aren't there in the walls looking at all the things?
Yeah. No, I mean, I actually am in the middle of an audit class because I'm trying to finish the courses I need to get my CPA. And they talk about all the on-site stuff you need to do. And I'm like, half these remote audit engagements are not putting physical eyes on assets or doing that. So, yeah, your argument holds some weight.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, that's all the time we got for this week. In fact, we even stole a little time from last week. So, those of you who haven't already, head on over to unaccountable.co or Apple. Leave us a nice little backhanded 5-star review. We'd love to read it on air. Otherwise, we'll be back next week, and I think we're going to deviate from normal procedures next week for a year-end episode, but we'll see. All that being said, have a good holiday, sir, and we'll talk to you next week.
You as well. Hey, Tyler, my staff has asked me to get better knowledge and training in spreadsheets and Excel. Any ideas?
Well, yeah, dude, I'm a little offended. You go to tylerauto.com, we have a course on intermediate Excel formulas. Just have them go over there and use the promo code UnAccountable for 50% off.
Nice. Gonna do that. Thank you, sir.